All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to put your entire digestive system on the stand, and I want you to forget everything you learned in high school biology because we're about to reframe this whole thing as a high-stakes legal thriller.
I mean, seriously, have you ever really stopped to think about it? You take a bite, you chew, you swallow, and you move on with your day. But underneath the surface, there's this wild, incredibly dramatic process that's just getting kicked off. The best way to wrap your head around digestion isn't some dry textbook. It's actually by picturing your gut as a courtroom. Because every single meal you eat, well, it becomes the defendant in a trial. And its fate totally hangs in the balance. So, to really get this drama, first we've got to meet the cast of characters. And trust me on this, the most powerful, most important character in this entire story, well, it's you. That's right. You are the legislature. The laws of this courtroom are written by your fork and knife. Every single food choice you make, what you eat, when you eat it, how much of it you eat, that sets the legal precedent for the entire trial that's about to unfold. You're in charge here. And here we have our defendant, the meal. It enters the courtroom accused of some pretty serious crimes against the state of your body. We're talking bloating, inflammation, and maybe even some long-term health problems. Its guilt or innocence is about to be decided by the players we're going to meet next.
Okay, order in the court. The defendant has entered the building, the legal teams are ready, and the trial is officially underway. Let's see how the prosecution starts things off.
Now, this trial follows a very strict procedure. First up, the bailiff processes the defendant. Then a really aggressive prosecutor starts the interrogation. And finally, everything goes before the judge, who's going to make the most critical decisions. Let's break each of those stages down. The trial kicks off with the bailiff, which is, you guessed it, your mouth. Chewing is the first step. It's like breaking the defendant down into more manageable pieces for the court. And your saliva? That's the legal paperwork, serving the meal with enzymes that officially begin the proceedings. A good bailiff makes the whole trial run a lot smoother. Next, the case file lands on the prosecutor's desk, your stomach. And let me tell you, this is one tough, no-nonsense prosecutor. It doesn't just ask polite questions. Oh no, it attacks the defendant with harsh acids, relentlessly trying to break the case wide open and liquefy all the evidence into this soupy mixture called chyme. And now we get to the most important figure in the entire courtroom, the honorable judge, your small intestine. This is where the real deliberation begins. The judge meticulously sifts through all that soupy evidence to extract anything valuable, the nutrients, and passes them on. It's so thorough it even calls on its expert clerks, the liver and the pancreas, to make sure not a single detail is missed. But hey, the judge doesn't work alone. Once all the key evidence has been absorbed, whatever is left of the case gets handed over to a massive, massive jury and a very specialized defense attorney. And get ready for this. We're not talking about a jury of 12 people. No way. We are talking about a jury of trillions. That's how many bacteria are living in your gut, and their collective opinion is unbelievably powerful. So this jury, your gut microbiome, gets to deliberate on everything the judge didn't need. And believe me, this jury has some strong preferences. If you give them fiber, they are happy, peaceful, cooperative citizens. But if you feed them a lot of processed junk, you might just be looking at a full-blown riot in the courtroom. And finally, let's meet the defense attorney, your colon. Now, its main job isn't really to defend the meal itself. Its client is your body's precious resources. It works tirelessly to reclaim every last drop of water and electrolytes before the final verdict comes down. So, after all the arguments have been heard, the interrogations are done, and the deliberations have finished, the trial finally comes to an end. It's time for the verdict. The court clerk, the rectum, files the final paperwork. With the verdict now reached, the judgment is carried out. The case is officially closed, as the body, well, removes what it has found to be useless. But what happens when the system breaks down? What if a defendant is so difficult that it throws the entire courtroom into chaos? Let's look at the classic case of a mistrial, bloating. I want you to think about it this way. Bloating isn't just some physical discomfort. In our legal drama, it is a full-blown protest. It's the sound of that jury of trillions shouting, "We object! We object!" It's a crystal clear sign that justice, in this case, was not served. So let's compare two different trials, side by side. In the well-run courtroom, a balanced, fibrous meal is on the stand.
The judge processes it easily, the jury is happy with all that fiber, and the verdict is peaceful and regular. Justice is served. But now look at the dysfunctional courtroom. A big, greasy, sugary meal completely overwhelms the system. The judge can't process it properly, the jury is thrown into absolute chaos, and they start producing massive amounts of gas. That gas is the protest. That is your bloating. And the verdict? A chaotic, uncomfortable mistrial.
So you see, it all comes back to you. You are the legislature. Your very next meal is the next defendant to step into that courtroom. So knowing how this whole trial works, what laws are you going to pass to make sure the verdict is a just and peaceful one? The choice, as always, is yours.